This video is about the French and Indian War. The war lasted from 1754 to 1763. Started with the Battle of Jumonville Glen and ended in the Treaty of Paris. On one side we have Britain and British America with Indian allies, and on the other side France, New France, also with Indian allies. The French-Indian War was the North American theater of the 7 Years' War. But please note, the French and Indian War started 2 years earlier, and some historians say it was the first time that a war actually spread from the colonies to the motherland, from the colonies to Europe. Anyway, the reasons for the war were tensions between the colonial powers, between France and Britain, regarding religion, trade and territories. This was not the first war, there were three previous wars: King William's War, Queen Anne's War and King George's War. After Queen Anne's War, there were some territorial changes. Britain gained areas around the Hudson Bay, Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. But now to the war, as mentioned, started with the Battle of Jumonville Glen. Washington, the later first president of the United States, won this battle after the French erected Fort Duquesne in the disputed area. After another battle, he had to retreat. And until January 1755, especially the French were able to bring reinforcements to North America from Europe. But then the most powerful navy at the time, the Royal Navy, blockaded all French ports. There was no way for support anymore or for reinforcements. The French and America were on their own. The British were successful in the northeast in a very offensive plans. They wanted to advance into the French colonies, but they were on all three directions they advanced, they were repulsed. The next years, 56 to 58, were actually also quite successful for the French. They could win a few battles, Battle of Fort Bull and Battle of Oswego, as well as the Battle or Massacre of Fort William Henry. Downside for the French, the British took more or less now complete control over the northeast. They took Louisbourg. The French could repulse the British advance towards Fort Carillon, but were not able to prevent the British pushing them out of the Ohio Valley. Then came the end for the French. Around 1759 it started. The British could take Fort Carillon, renamed it Fort Ticonderoga, and also took over Fort Niagara. Now the way was open into the French colonies, so the pressure was mounting from the south. The decisive battle, we have to deal with the British here. Of course, there has to be some naval involvement. That came from the sea through St. Lawrence River. The Battle of Quebec was won. The war was over. Nearly last attempt of the French to resupply and relieve their forces in the colonies. It failed because the British won the naval battle of Restigouche. Now the war was definitely over. The French governor, surrendered, but he could preserve the rights of the French settlers. The war in Europe went on, the 7 Years' War. So the formal end of hostilities was with the Treaty of Paris, 1763. The consequences. First of all, territorial changes. The French lost all their colonies in North America, taken over by the British, and in the West, the Spanish got some land, some territories. Many Acadians in the north east had to leave their homes. But another very important impact or consequence of the war was that both countries, France and Britain, had quite some financial problems. The war was quite expensive. So for the French it means that is the first step towards the French Revolution. And for the British, the first step towards losing their American colonies, because they introduced taxes to consolidate their public finances. The 13 colonies in North America were not quite happy with it, and this led to the American Revolution, the independence of the United States, and the further development. The French annoyed losing the war, wanted to get back on the British and supported then the Americans during the Revolution. That was the French and Indian War in 5.